Most people who are familiar with addiction and the treatment of addiction are familiar with words like unmanageability and powerlessness. And for a non-addict, that's really hard to fathom. In fact, it sounds like an excuse. What do you mean you're powerless and your life has become unmanageable? But there is kind of this pain-pleasure principle that when a person is engaging in a behavior that's highly pleasurable and there are little, if any, consequences attached, we're going to persist in that behavior. Well, pornography and sex addiction accesses dopamine, which is really the ultimate high. Dopamine is associated with any feel-good experience. And sex addiction and pornography have created kind of a fast track whereby a person can access this incredibly impactful brain chemical. And as long as I can access it and it's pleasurable and there are no consequences, I can make an internal commitment to quit. I don't want to ask for help because I'm somewhat in denial about the fact that I have a problem. There's shame associated. And so I tell myself I'm not going to do it again. And yet, once the behavior has stopped and the withdrawal sets in and I start to pine for that hit, a person begins to design their justification and can come up with all kinds of excuses and rationalizations about why it's okay. And so in the secrecy of their own home or the privacy of their office, they continue to reinforce a pattern that has a big payoff. And the payoff is so big, the consequences are so small, the powerlessness and unmanageability become more than just concepts. They become a person's reality. It's only until consequences start to kick in that people start reaching out in some form or fashion for help. And that inevitable crisis is what often jumpstarts the recovery process. Those crises being a person loses a job because their company has a zero tolerance policy for pornography and they went ahead and accessed it while at work. Or a woman is filing for divorce because she's discovered that her husband has been emailing or accessing or responding to personal ads online. Or a man finally discovers via his wife's text messages that she's been involved in multiple relationships outside their marriage. Those critical events, those crises, are often the tipping point for people when finally the pleasure that they associate with acting out is outstripped with the pain of the consequences that have always been attached to the behavior but that have finally caught up.